how to break out of the matrix and change your life. That's what I'm going to be talking about on today's video. Welcome back to another video. My name is Dom and I help people to step into their truth and power. I want to talk to you today about something that everybody has, but everybody isn't using to its fullest capacity. And because of that, they're feeling stuck in the matrix or trapped in their circumstances. What everybody has is the you within you that is smarter than you are. I'll say that again. What everybody has is the you within you that is smarter than you are. That you within you is connected to things in the universe that are outside of you. Imagine, for just a moment, the thought of that you inside of you is a super smartness or wisdom that your human brain just can't match. And here's the thing. You don't need to imagine it. You already have it. But many of us have been removed or separated from it. Some of us are aware, but struggle with connecting with it, hearing from it, understanding it. And even if you do all of those things, you likely have trouble trusting it. What if there was a language to it? What would you call it? Some would call it intuition. Others would call it an inner force. Others call it the Holy Spirit or inner spirit. However you refer to it, we all have it. And somewhere along the line between our childhood and our adulthood, we've been taught we can't fully trust it. We're led to believe because it doesn't logically make sense, we can't trust it. Well, my friend, it's not supposed to make sense. I want you to understand that. Our minds are very limited, and our egos don't like to think so. We dig our heels into our limiting beliefs and false truths so much just to prove ourselves right. And so it is. That becomes our experience. You see, we'll always be what we believe we are until we change the story we're telling ourselves. We're at a period in time right now where we are discovering many of the old things we were taught to be true really aren't true. We're in a time where old beliefs are starting and need to be challenged. We need to understand where the old limiting beliefs came from. How did I get them? And are they even mine? Or were they instilled in me and really belong to someone else? And if that's true, what is really true for me? That question really shouldn't be answered from our mind, but more from the inner wisdom and truth that comes from our heart, our intuition or inner spirit. That source truth is never wrong. It never leads us off a cliff. And it has a much bigger purview of what's going on in the world than our limited mind could ever materialize and have. Up until a few years ago, I spent so much time in my mind trying to figure things out, solve problems, make sense of things, and plan things out from A to Z so that I could feel safe in the decisions I was making. But more often than not, what really happened? Most of the time, I was stressed. I was constantly thinking about the what if scenarios and trying to plan the contingencies for all of them. Because some of those felt so big to solve, I often didn't sleep well. I didn't have the knowledge or the resources to solve them the way my mind thought I needed to do. And therein lies the paradox. We think we need to have every what-if scenario solved or answered, every potential problem fixed before they even occur, before we feel good enough or safe enough to move forward. This overthinking often keeps us stuck from taking any action because we're constantly thinking and strategizing and solving. Yes, our minds are operating from a place of that we don't know what we don't know. It's a very limited perception. We can't possibly know what our inner spirit and intuition knows. Our inner spirit knows things that are not logical. It's not based in logic. It's more of a spiritual experience. It can't be logically explained. In our mind, 7 times 1 equals 7. That makes logical sense. But spiritually, things don't logically add up to our mind because 7 times 1 is 777. And when we hear something like this, it causes our mind to go tilt, 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 tilt. How is that? How could that be? It doesn't make sense. Our inner spirit has a purview of our existence that our mind can't consume rationally. It is so much more than what our mind thinks it is. Your inner spirit and intuition are the doors to your inner truth and wisdom. I'm going to say that again. Your inner spirit and intuition are the doors to your inner truth and wisdom. Worry, doubt, skepticism, and anxiety, they not only lock those doors, but they block the doors to our inner truth and wisdom. We don't even see them or know that they are there when we're in that energy. And so because we're disconnected from this, we move through our life worrying and trying to control everything that feels uncontrolled. We spend our time feeling anxious and worrying about and thinking our way through every possible scenario to try and control the outcomes we're going to experience. Can you relate to this? If you can, type the word matrix in the comments below. Type the word matrix in the comments below and let me know. This will let me know that you can identify with what I'm sharing with you. I've lived the majority of my adult life like this, in the matrix. And I've been a worship leader in church since I was 13. But finally, in my 40s, I began asking myself some tough questions. If I truly had faith, like I profess to have faith, why am I constantly obsessing or worrying about the what ifs of what can happen? I wanted to change my career, and those what if questions kept me stuck for over 10 years. 10 years! It wasn't until my dad suddenly passed from an unexpected heart attack, and then a month later losing my job without severance after working for the company for 18 years, that I stopped and really began to question, what the hell am I doing? I began to realize how stuck I truly was in the matrix. I felt like I was just existing day after day. And I realized that I'm not really living my life to its fullest potential. I had sunk into a mediocrity of living in the matrix because I was lacking faith and embracing fear. And for 10 years, I stayed stuck because I felt trapped. I felt like I couldn't change my circumstances. I couldn't figure out a way out that felt safe to me. And it wasn't until the safety, the perceived safety, was kicked out from underneath of me that I finally woke up. I woke up from the slumber of being asleep in my own existence. Worry and fear in my mind of what if kept me trapped in my circumstances. For the first time in my life, I chose to surrender my thoughts and fears, to lay them down and not pick them back up, and to really trust where my heart, my inner spirit, my intuition was leading me to go. I wasn't given the grand plan. I only knew the next step. That was it. The thing was, I still had a choice. I could go down the path that I went down before, but I knew where that path would take me. And I've been miserable on that path. Or I could do something different this time and trust where I was being led. But it would only be shown to me one step at a time. Truth be told, it was really scary. I only had so much financial runway. Further, I went into debt for my education to make this choice. At the time, I felt like I was betting on myself. And in the end, I feel like I have won. I love waking up each day to do what I do. But what was really going on was something much, much deeper. It was at the identity level. It wasn't just an opening up of my mind, but it was an opening up of my spiritual awareness and awakening about what I believed, about who I am, and what my true purpose is, what my talents are, and how I'm to use the experience and God-given talents that I've been blessed with to powerfully serve others in the world. The experience unveiled itself one step at a time, one day at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 month at a time, 1 year at a time. And it's still unveiling itself to me, and will now continue as long as I'm alive on this planet to continue to unveil. It's never going to stop. It's been over 3 years now that I've been in my new career as an entrepreneur, and I haven't crashed and burned. I haven't had to make contingency plans. I just needed to trust the process, trust where my heart was leading me, and step into my courage and take action in where I was being led to go by my inner spirit, and in what I was being taught and shown in the experiences I was having. In order to break out of the matrix, ultimately, I had to give myself permission to have a new experience without having to answer all of the what-if questions. And man, it's been the best 3 years of my life. It's been such an adventure, and there have been so many unexpected surprises and synchronicities that took place for me that in no way I could have ever created them for myself. It felt almost magical at times. The experiences have just been too fantastic and over the top for my limited mind to see coming or even conceive of when I first started. For this to happen, we've got to be more in tune with our heart and inner spirit. We've got to find the inner courage within to follow through on where it's leading us to go. That doesn't happen with us knowing what to do. I could hand you a book right now on how to ride a bike. But does that mean you could go out and ride that bike if you've never ridden before? No, of course not. It takes having an experience. Most of us are much more in touch and in relationship with our mind than our hearts and inner spirit. Many of us haven't spent much time developing a relationship with our own heart and inner spirit. If we want to trust it more, we've got to spend time developing that relationship with ourselves. It's a process that takes time. It takes experience, just like riding a bike. The more you do it, the more proficient you become, and the more you then begin to trust it and trust yourself over time. As I've said before, I've been a worship leader in church since I was 13, and I'm now a certified coach. And I've learned many ways to not only connect to that inner spirit and intuition, but I've also learned how to trust it more and more so that I'm not experiencing the fear and worry in things it's leading me to do. Would it be helpful for you to learn some of those ways? If it would, I'd like to invite you to a brand new online workshop that I've created called Feeling the Force Within. It's a free workshop that I will be hosting on Tuesday, April 27th, 2021 at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. In the workshop, I am going to share with you 9 benefits to having a developed relationship with your inner force, spirit, or intuition, and 7 powerful ways you can practice developing it. It will be held on a Zoom and will last for about 45 to 60 minutes. Again, it's a free online workshop. All you have to do is register online, and I've dropped the link to sign up for in the comments below, so go check it out. And so, I'm curious, what have you learned from this video today? What are you taking away with you? Drop that in the comments below. Let me know. I would love to be able to support you and inspire you in whatever way I can as you move forward on your journey. And so until I connect with you again for my next video, stay well, stay healthy, and stay empowered.